Hello dear students, you are welcome to my YouTube channel Learn with Fun. As you know, I upload the very interesting and very useful videos for you in my channel. As usual, today I would like to talk about one of the very important topic which is given in grade 8, 9 and 10 social studies, that is executive. So dear students, you may have some ideas about it, but today I will give you more ideas and more information about the topic, the executive. It is also called the cabinet or council of ministers, or it is also called the government. Okay, dear students, let's start. So what is executive? So executive is the law implementing and governing body of the state. As I have already told you, executive is the government. It is the council of ministers. As you know, there are three important organs of the state: legislative, the executive, and judiciary. Okay, I have already talked about judiciary in my previous class, and today we are going to discuss on the executive. Okay, executive is formed out of the legislature. Legislature means this is the house of parliament. This is also called parliament in Nepal. So executive is formed, it is made out of the same legislature. There are people's representatives in legislature. The party which holds majority of the members of the parliament. The party which holds the majority of the members, majority of the legislators in the parliament had the right to form the government or council of ministers. As you know, the head of the executive is prime minister, and there are ministers, under his prime ministership. So Nepal is a federal democratic republican country. As you know that Nepal is a federal democratic republican country. So there are three structures of government: federal government, provincial government, and local government. So there are also three types of executives. First of all, so what is federal executive? So according to our present constitution, the form of the government of Nepal is multi-party, competitive, federal, democratic, republican, parliamentary. This is the form of government. We are in a democratic country. Nepal is a democratic, as I have already told you, it's a democratic republican country. So our executive system is based on the same principle. So what are the functions of executive? So there are lots of functions, but I have written here some of the major ones, which are inclusive. Administrative function. So administrative function includes, it refers to the maintaining law and order in the country. The government, the executive is responsible for maintaining law and order in the country, and also it is very important for implementing the development projects. The government or executive is responsible for running the day-to-day administration in the country. These are the functions, major function. Another function is diplomatic function. It's also important. The executive is responsible. Executive should maintain friendly relations with the foreign countries. In the same way, it is responsible for determining foreign policy in the country. So all the diplomatic functions are related to under the executive. And financial functions. The country needs financial resources for developing the country, for conducting different projects. So the executive mobilizes and manages resources required for the development projects. Similarly, the executive, the Minister of Finance, introduces annual budget each year, which is very important for the development of the country, for the development of infrastructures. And it also, the executive has the right to determine, to impose tax and collect revenue. These are some of the major financial responsibilities or functions of the government. Another important function of executive is military function. Military function. The country has military security forces, and the executive had the right, had the authority to control them, to mobilize them, to defend the country against the enemies, to save, to defend our geographical heritage, to defend and protect country's territory. So promoting national security, mobilization of security forces. So government has the right, the executive has the right to appoint the chiefs of Nepal Army, Armed Police, and Nepal Police. These are the military function of the executive. Dear students, executive is very important. Okay, to run development projects, to implement laws and other policies as passed by the legislature. But one important thing is that executive is responsible for the legislature. Legislature forms executive. The majority of the party, the party which has majority in the legislature can form the government, can run the government, and the executive, the council of ministers, they are responsible for the legislature. Keep in mind. So levels of executive in Nepal, I have already told you, Nepal is a federal democratic republican country. So there are 3 levels of government, there are 3 levels of executives. Federal executive, provincial executive, local executive, as I have already told you. So now let's talk about provincial executive. The executive power of the province is based in the provincial council of ministers. Provincial government nowadays. There are 7 provinces in our country. The duties and power of the provincial executive is mentioned in the constitution. A chief minister is appointed in each province at the head of the provincial executive. Similarly, the chief of the province is appointed by the government to appoint the council of ministers in each province from the party which holds majority in the provincial election. There are 3 types of election. We have, dear students, just 2 or 3 years before, we had 3 types of election. Local executive. This is generally called the local government, and the executive power of the local government level is vested in the municipal executive or a village executive. There is a mayor and a chairperson in each municipality and rural municipality, respectively. The authority and duties are mentioned in the constitution. So what are the authorities of local executive? What are the authorities of provincial authorities, provincial executive, and what are the authorities and duties of the federal executive? They are clearly mentioned. They are clearly given in our constitution, and they have to follow the constitution. Dear students, so I would like to revise in short. I would like to recap the whole lesson in very few words. Keep in mind, executive means, keep in mind, this is called governing body. This is called the government in simple words. It is the body of government that runs the day-to-day administration, day-to-day activities of the government of the country. So executive is responsible for making policy, implementing laws and order in the country, and conducting different development projects, etc. And as Nepal is a federal democratic country, as Nepal is a federal democratic republican country, so there are 3 types of executive, there are 3 types of government. That is federal government in the center, in Kathmandu, and that is provincial government in each provinces of the country, and there are local government in other local bodies, local level in our country. So these 3 governments are working for the day-to-day administration, are for working for the country, for the citizens. They are carrying out different projects, and keep in mind, they have to follow the order, the constitution. They have to follow the law. They have to implement the law. They have to implement the policy. They have to act according to the constitution. They cannot go against constitution. Okay, these are the many other things of executive. The students, as you know, there is prime minister in the federal executive at the head. That is chief minister. There are chief ministers in the provincial executive, and there are mayors, okay, or chairperson, in the local executive at the head. Okay, dear students, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Okay, please don't forget to subscribe our channel and share the video to your friends. I will again come with the new videos which are useful for you. Thank you. Bye.